Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly partnered with the What the Funk shop. Please check out their store for all sorts of products. They have dice, miniatures, game master screens, home decorations, and many other things. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. And make sure that you use my code for a special discount. Tonight I wanted to talk about, I guess you could say it's a recommendation, some advice. It's mostly going to be useful for older players out there, let's say those in their 40s or above, 40s, 50s, 60, etc. But it's also a good consideration for the younger players because eventually the younger players are going to be old. And it's the concept of not falling behind in tabletop RPGs. What do I mean by this? Oftentimes there is this stereotype of the boomer. The boomer takes a look at the modern anime, manga, video games, and let's say this boomer plays tabletop RPGs in the past. Usually there are very few boomers that actually role play in tabletop role playing games, but let's imagine that they actually play tabletop RPGs as it should be played, playing a role and playing a game. And they take a look at all the modern media and they feel alienated from it. Like what are those Chinese cartoons, them Chinese cartoons, or they think that it is not possible or even stupid to represent video games or anime or manga or whatever through tabletop RPGs, using those fictional settings as the game world, using various sensibilities, tropes, staples of the genres and subgenres, the media, combining them with the mechanics of the game. They could consider that nonsense. But this is actually weakness. That is weakness on the part of the older generations that do not adapt to our current times. Now, I'm a 42 years old guy, about to be 43 in July. And I've never experienced this problem because I am always fascinated by all of the media. Of course, you avoid the propaganda from the wokesters, from the religious people, etc. You avoid any propaganda from the right, from the left, and whatnot. But when it comes to honest media that has been created in order to represent an enchanting world, an enchanting experience in the case of tabletop RPGs, you would be missing out. And this is not to say that if you have been playing Dungeons and Dragons First Edition for the entirety of your life, or any other old game like Traveler First Edition, etc., Tunnels and Trolls, um, this is not to say that you should stop playing. But I would say that you miss out on many opportunities to experience all sorts of wonderful things, both from the roleplay and the game perspective. And sometimes you obtain ideas from those settings, from those systems. Many modern tabletop RPGs, both in their setting and in their rules, they have some very interesting concepts. Sometimes you may take some pieces from those game worlds, some pieces from those rule sets, and enhance your sessions that you have already been playing for who knows how many years. So I consider it more like a waste. Don't fall behind, not because you should be trendy or, en vogue, how would you call it? Like in the style, in the current style, but because of the many advantages that you can take from such modern experiences. And this is not to say that you have to play something from the present moment, right? Even 10 or 20 years ago, so many interesting things have appeared. And I can tell you something that I have seen every single time throughout the years, especially from those guys that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. Those that do not adapt, they end up very bitter, miserable, alone. They suddenly don't find people to play their games because their group, they have already moved on to other things, or some of them have been unalived. In other cases, it's not that easy, even if you think, oh, I just need to find someone from my current generation. Some of them have become busy, very, very busy with their work. They have changed hobbies. They are busy with their family. They have health issues, crippling health issues that keep them from participating in tabletop RPG sessions. Some of them, like I said, they do not they are not long for this world. So those are some things that people do not put enough importance on. And this could apply to many other hobbies, right? But because this channel places great emphasis on tabletop RPGs, I am approaching it from that angle. So if you're someone that is sticking to a single tabletop RPG for who knows how many decades, I would encourage you to take a peek every now and then. Just don't look at the surface level. Actually, try to understand such things. If you don't understand how video games can combine with tabletop RPGs for a tabletop role-playing game experience unlike any other, play some video games, then play those tabletop RPGs, and you will find yourself surprised as to how great of a job they did in adapting a particular video game world and even mechanics to the point that it becomes a very surreal experience, including anime, including manga. When the tropes of that media, those tropes make their way into the RPG environment, tabletop RPG environment, and it creates some very unique, interesting, and fun mechanics and even aesthetic or background related details. So I highly encourage that because whenever I see those of the older generations that they tend to insult or mock anime, manga, video games, and whatnot, especially of current times, it only shows how afraid they are of not getting exposed as very ignorant of our current times and unable to adapt. So they try to mock and insult those expressions in order to hide their weakness. And nobody's getting fooled by that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was informative and entertaining. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Like, subscribe, take a look at the information in the description, the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, roleplay solves everything. Once again, thank you and see you later.